my presentation might be a little bit useful for all the beginners, or this is what I did in my career. I'm just sharing my experience. So once again, I thank the young IRSI team, especially Rohan, for this opportunity. It's always pleasure to be part of young team. So my talk is today on building your practice ground up. So no financial interest for this particular talk. So why we have to start private practice? Of course, Rajesh may scold me here because of course they are in the number one institute as a consultant. But especially we are all practicing in a very small place. Always we dreamt about starting a private practice. So always the thrill of starting and building a practice is always something special when you starting. Probably I always feel that it is the most gratifying moment that one can experience when they're starting their own, which has been not given to them on a platter. So initially, normally everybody will have a downside, but always it has been overshadowed by the very little successful moments day by day. So coming to the starting a practice, there are two ways you can start. You can start small or you can go big. Once again, it depends upon someone's financial abilities. But I believe that my personal feeling that you start small, then go big. So always these are the advantage. Always when you're starting your own practice, you are the boss of that whole clinic or the hospital. The joy, especially as a ophthalmologist, is nothing but we give the patient vision. Of course, when you're starting only, the excitement will be something different. And from the first day onwards only, growth will be noted, and also with some amount of remuneration. So, of course, what are the process of starting from scratch? So whether to choose a location, metropolitan or a tier 2 city. Let me come to the one more very important point. In the city also, the location is very important where you are starting the practice. Of course, whether to have a rented place or own place depending upon your financial abilities. But I personally feel that to start with, I think you need to have around 3,000 square feet area. I keep telling all my friends that don't hesitate to, when you're starting a clinic, don't hesitate to do a good interior decoration. That is very, very important. Of course, where to start? Urban or semi-urban? Of course, I started my hat in the semi-urban areas because I started my career like this. So let me come to the reception part. It's very important. You need to have a good reception. That itself will build your in-house marketing. I always tell all my juniors, those who are starting their practice, if they start with the operation theater, definitely it will have advantages. So coming to this one particular point, I think Rohan wanted to talk to me, optical outlet. Probably I feel that it's a breadwinner in the initial state of the practice because you will not be getting any surgeries initially and you won't be having any other income. But I think optical income itself take care about most of the expenditure. So I think most of the people, when they start, they think that, okay, it's a big headache for me, I should not have an optical. They refer to the optician, whatever the money or commission or cuts they give, they rely on that. But my personal feeling that when you're starting your own as a doctor, I think you need to have your own optical outlet. Always, once you start a practice, always you should announce to the people that you are providing the best service in the city. My personal feeling that I think you should start with a good investment, even it means to stretch your budget. One more important point, always you should identify the people in the city who can really help to build your practice. Of course, have an alternate position. Of course, there are some, I started initially, I was working in a government hospital for full time, and part time my clinic was there. Definitely this kind of government service that helps in build a mass appeal. So doing camp or free social service definitely give a very good image. The final goal has to be growing your practice. So what should be the minimum equipment to start? You need to have a chair in it, you need to have a slit lamp, you need to have autorefractor keratometer, basic phaco machine, operating microscope. Then later on, try and add facilities like you can have retinal lasers and OCT in the coming stages. This is very important about the money management. I always feel that initially, always opt for a company which will agree for a staggered payment. Very, very important. Of course, if you are like already practicing some other place and after 2-3 years of practicing other place, you are starting your own, then back of your mind, definitely you'll think that, okay, I'll be having a per month around 20-25 surgery or 15 surgery. Nothing wrong bundling with the IOL for equipment. Definitely it will try to reduce your stress. Very important when you're talking with the company, always bargain hard. Definitely there is a scope for price reduction. Of course, coming to the quality, even if there is a space is a constraint, invest on the very good equipment. I always believe in that. Compromise on some and make up it for others. Like for example, you can compromise on the slit lamp, chair unit, green laser or YAG laser. But you need to have a very good autorefractometer, you need to have a good OCT, you need to have a good phaco machine, good microscope. This is the one thing I wanted to tell most of the youngsters. Even refurbished equipment is also a good option whenever you are having a cash problem. So once you start your practice, first year, I think you can use the media to your advantage. Like you can see in this picture, we are doing a health camp along with the eye camp with the health minister of Karnataka at that time. Then this news has come in the newspaper and a lot of people appreciated, and this kind of publicity will really help to pick up your practice. When I started my practice, I still remember way back 22 years before, I went and met most of the general practitioners in and around the city. Even I met few of the local optician and pharmacist also. But nowadays, some of my friends, they keep public relation officer, like they do the job like farmer representative. So coming to the second year onwards, I think you can even marketing budget, it can increase, especially print media. But nowadays, most of the people put their money on the social media marketing. Of course, some people even take PRs to do the active field marking to tell about your facilities. But I always believe that give more thrust to the surgical counseling. Once you reach around 100 cataracts per month, now you start investing on the machineries like IOL master, OCT, better microscope, better phaco machine. Try and rope. This is the time you start becoming more busy and busy. Now try and rope in another consultant. When you're taking another consultant, you can take him as a partner or you can take him as an employee. But one important thing, better if the partner practices a different subspecialty. So once you reach that level, always I had a dreamt of building an institution. But building an institution, not only dreaming, but very, very important, you need to have a very good team with you. Always start with having a junior ophthalmologist who can work with you, who can share all possible work that can be done by anyone other than you. Now you can even build a specialty clinic by appointing a specialist consultants. Once you reach around 150 to 200 surgeries, now you can expand, you can have your own building. Now you can complete with all such specialties, at least invest at least 10% of the budget in the marketing. But once again, I insist on in-house marketing. If you are in-house marketing very good, I think your practice is going to grow rapidly. Then if you see a good response, if you're crossing around 200, 250 surgeries, probably even this is the best time to have a laser refractive surgery. But just a one point I want to tell that these days it's becoming more and more difficult to recover investment purely from refractive. You have to remember this. So in such times, I think even someone can think about investing in satellite centers to feed your main center. So as I said before, always building a team is very, very important. Always I made my colleagues as my partners. Specialty consultant, we give them the perks to improve their commitment. Always I treat all my doctors like my colleague, not employees. I always believe that a good player can win matches, but need a good team to win a championship. So coming to the developing a subspecialty practice, much easier in metros than tier 2. If you're having a subspecialty, this thing, you will have a quality consultant, both in skills and personality. You can try to involve them as a partners also. But always, you all know that I think retina is developing as a revenue spinner. Let me come to one or two words about doing a free eye camp. Definitely, these regular eye camps will never hurt your private practice. It helps in increase your patient base, also build an image in the community. Coming to the branding, always making a good brand of equipment and consumables are very, very important. I always believe that help in making the hospital being recognized as one of the giving quality service to the patient. Then coming to the spread out, I think once you have a more and more, I think branches, now you can even once you are established, now you can have a more branches. Then of course, you all depend upon how much stress you could able to take on you. Of course, you can have a branches, especially larger cities. You can have a multiple center. Of course, already people will be knowing that your brand name. Very important. Of course, in a different smaller town, you can have a small clinic that sometimes it may also act as a feeder. So coming to my last slide, I think, but you need to manage the time. If you cannot manage the time, then definitely there will not be any time for yourself, your family, your leisures, and your social occasions. So in conclusion, I want to say only one word: no risk, no reward. The biggest risk is not taking any risk in a world that is changing quickly. The only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risk. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Kudlu, sir. We lived your life journey with you in those presentations, in those slides, sir. It was eye-opening, and especially your point about propaganda, that no money that is put in propaganda is ever wasted. I think that's a great tip to take forward.